Hey everyone, welcome back to the Noodle Life. Today, we're going to be checking out some noodles from Korea. Dun dun! So this is a Jjamppong noodle soup kit. Jjamppong is a type of Korean noodle soup that has the red sauce with chili, and I don't know if it's going to be spicy, but it's definitely going to have a lot of flavor in it. Look at the packaging. Now here on the front, you have this great looking picture of the noodles, but they do tell you that the pictured seafood and fresh vegetables are not included. So what's going to be in here, I think, is just going to be the soup base, the noodles, and then some sort of vegetables or that are going to be in the soup. We'll take a look at that once we open. The other thing is there are two packages, or at least it looks like there are two packages of noodles, two soup bases with chili oil, and then two sets of toppings. This is perishable, so you have to keep this refrigerated. When I bought these at the store, they had them in the refrigerator section, and I've kept them in the refrigerator until today when I was ready to use them. All right, laundry list of ingredients. It's quite a bit of stuff. One thing I did notice is that with these Korean noodles, 2 servings per container. Each serving has 530 calories and then almost 2,300 milligrams of sodium. So if you're gonna eat this whole package yourself, you may wanna stay away from eating all of the soup base. The instructions and everything are easy to follow. Most of this is all in English, and I've done a very good job translating, so all of the instructions actually make sense, which isn't always the case with some of the noodles that you buy from around the world. All right, well, I say let's get into it and see what's in this package. It feels quite heavy, so I'm excited to see how these noodles are. I've actually never had a noodle package like this from Korea. There's everything. Ooh, taking a little smell, I can smell the Korean, that red paste that they use in different soups and things. This is gonna be delicious, I can already tell. All right, let's see. So here is one package of noodles, 1 serving. This feels like the vegetable block. Here's another vegetable block. Put those together. Another package of noodles. And these must be our seasonings with chili oil. Okay. Now what's interesting about this that I didn't realize when I purchased it was that I could actually just make 1 serving of noodles, take the rest of this, put it back in the bag and throw it back in the refrigerator for another meal. But I tend to be kind of a hungry guy, so I'm gonna make it all today. All right, well, let's get this stuff in the pot and we can start cooking the noodles. It shouldn't take too long. The directions say cook them for about 4 minutes. Use a strainer, and then in a separate saucepan, which we'll do one right after the other, we'll put the soup base and the topping, this one, together, and then we'll see what it's like. So here are the noodles. Now, one thing is these are very fresh. They're not dried. They're still very malleable. As you can see, there's still some flour on the noodles to keep them all from sticking. And if you smell them, they smell just like they were homemade, fresh. So this is probably the reason, or this is the reason why these have to be refrigerated, because the noodles themselves are much more fresh. They're not dried out. Okay, our water is coming to a boil. Start dumping the noodles in. Turn down the heat just a little bit. I want to make sure, with fresh noodles especially, to keep stirring so they don't all clump together and stick. So something that typically happens is your water will start to foam up like this. So pro tip to keep it from going over is to just add a little fresh water. It'll go right back down. Continue to stir. And just keep an eye on it so it doesn't overflow and make a mess of your stove. It's been 5 minutes. Turn the water off so these don't boil over on me and take a taste of the noodles. These are perfect. 5 minutes. Fresh noodles tend to cook much faster. Those are good. Let me strain these. I wasn't, I guess, diligent enough in stirring the noodles, and some of them actually stuck to the bottom. Okay, good enough for government work, good enough for me. So the next step says add 250 milliliters of water. There we go. We'll get the stove started on low, because this is going to boil fairly quickly. And what they want us to do is to cook everything into the water. So let's start with the, actually, you know what? Let's start with the soup base. So we have 2 packs of the soup base. Let me just zoom out a little bit so you can get a better shot. So here are the soup bases. Got to be careful so I don't make a total mess. Oh, look. This makes life easier. All right, let's just do one at a time. Okay, let's see here. Give this a taste. Oh. Oh, that's good. And it is a little spicy. It has a bit of a seafood flavor, so it tastes like a shellfish. Yeah, that's good. And it's got the Korean red paste in there. So nice chili flavoring. Okay, first packet. Let's do the second packet. Now, to me, I feel like 250 milligrams of water isn't quite enough, but I guess we'll see once we put all this together. Again, this is my first time having Korean noodles in a bag like this, as well as my first time having what would be essentially perishable noodles. All right, so let's get the chili oil open. Take a little taste of this with my finger. I feel like this is going to be the spicy component here. Not really. Unless I'm just missing something. Let's try another one. Try a bit more. No, it just tastes like oil flavored with some chilies. It has a slight hint of spice, but not much. Although I have found that when you taste these from the packet, you don't get the same amount of spice as when it cooks. And once it cooks, something happens with those chilies, and it just brings all of that heat out into the soup. Give this a little stir. Okay, and now for the toppings, or the vegetable block. You just tear it. Oh, that's interesting. I've never seen this before. It's almost like a freeze-dried block of vegetables. All right, you know I have to taste this before I put it in the soup. That's good. It's sweet, actually. And there's some, I don't think this is all vegetables. I think some of this is actually seafood. There's onion, looks like some green onion. I don't know if this is mushroom or seafood. And then there's some sort of a soup or sauce that has been freeze dried with the block. Let me take another bite of this. That is different. All right, let's put that in there. This one looks like it has some chilies in it too. Some carrot. It smells good. Let's see how these cook into the soup. Oh yeah, they're just breaking right up. Now this looks like it might be a little piece of squid. Let's let this all reconstitute. Kind of get a better idea of what some of these different components are. And then we will mix it with the noodles and get our soup on. Okay, we've got everything in the bowl. And as I expected, there's not really much of a soup base on this. It's more of like a sauce. But everything reconstituted pretty well. I was looking at the ingredient list, and if you look at the toppings, so that block we had earlier, dehydrated vegetables, green onion, squid, so I was right about the squid and seafood, and dried shrimp. There are also shiitake mushrooms in there. So this has a really strong seafood smell to it, and I'm curious to see what it's gonna taste like. I know one thing's for certain, these noodles are going to be fantastic. Looks like everything has come together nicely. The noodles are soaking up the flavor, so it's time to try this. But before I do, let's see if I can just get a little bit of this soup broth. See how thick that is? Look at this. It's almost the consistency of like a ketchup. Let's see. Oh, that's good. And yes, it definitely got spicier. Now I would say, if you like seafood, this is the soup for you. If not, don't get near it because this has really strong seafood flavor. Now let's see. What is this? Oh, so this is one of the little shrimps. Looks like it's still in the shell. Let's see if we can get the focus on this. Come on. There you go. So you can see it's still in the shell. Let's give it a try. Crunchy from the shell. Really good flavor. It does taste like it has been rehydrated, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's still pretty delicious. Let's try some of this. Got my bowl so I don't make a total mess. Oh no, those are good. The noodles have done a great job. Come on, focus, there you go. All right, the noodles have done a great job at soaking up the flavors down there, especially since that sauce is so thick. Keep stirring these around so they don't get all bound up. Now the noodles themselves, they taste very fresh, almost like they were homemade. They have quite a nice bite, little chewy, just the way I like them, and very substantial. Now the thing is, while on the packaging, it says that this is a noodle soup kit, I don't consider this a noodle soup. These are more like noodles with a sauce put over them. try some of the components here. I think this might be the mushroom. Mushroom is very good. Here's another little piece. Let's see if we can get this in focus. There we go. That piece didn't rehydrate enough, and it was the squid, not mushroom. They both look the same in the soup. So I feel like if I was gonna make this again, what I would do is cook the little blocks first and then add the sauce to kind of thicken it up. Let's get some more noodles. The noodles are the definite hero of this. If you wanted to, you could add more seafood, some fresh vegetables, but me, this is the noodle life. So I just stick to the straight up noodles. Now, as you can see, the starch from the noodles is continuing to thicken this up. We've gotten to a point now where there's very little liquid in here. Oh, but it is so good. Mushrooms are delicious. Here's another one of the shrimp. That shrimp is surprisingly good. It's a little sweet too. I think this is squid. Oh, these noodles are delicious. Well, let me finish these noodles and then I will give you my final verdict. All right, I'm all done. Oop, I just realized I missed a shrimp. There aren't very many of them in there, but they're good. Good to the very end. So I picked these up at the store for $5.99, and I tried to find them on Amazon, a few other places. I wasn't able to. I'll try to link to some different versions that I find online in the description below. But if you can, definitely give these a shot. The noodles themselves were fantastic. The sauce was delicious. The components were kind of hit and miss. Some reconstituted completely, others didn't, and that might be partly due to my fault. I was just following the directions, but I think, like I said earlier, next time what I would do is cook the blocks first and then add the seasoning. That might be the way to go, but maybe just some of these don't rehydrate very well. Now, the one thing I don't like about this soup is the fact that, again, there are almost 2,300 milligrams of sodium per serving, and there are 2 servings in here. So even if you just eat half of this soup, you are getting a lot of sodium in there, and there's no way around it because the soup base actually is more like a gravy. So you can't eat your noodles and leave the soup base. As you can see, I had to get all of it, and it's just kind of stuck to the bowl now. So for $5.99, this is excellent. You can make it for the family, make it for yourself, and just have a big bowl of noodles, or just take half of it because they come in individually wrapped packages. Put the other half back in the refrigerator, make yourself 1 bowl of soup, next day have the other one. 2 thumbs up for this one. Thank you guys so much. I so appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And if you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. I'll see you next time on The Noodle Life. Bye.